So have your strap close by, something you can use like a strap, even, like a towel or a scarf or a dog leash or a tie. Just have that within hand's reach. Go ahead, lay down on your back. Let's stretch out for a few minutes. So get as comfortable as you can on your back. You might roll your shoulders away from your ears, slightly tilt your chin in towards your chest. Notice how your low back feels in this position if you need to. If it feels better, you can always bend your knees, plant your feet. I like to take my feet a little bit wider on my mat and let my knees knock in. This helps elongate the lumbar spine. Whatever you want to do with your arms, maybe you stretch them out wide. You can turn the palms to face up towards the ceiling. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes here. Nice deep breath in through your nose. Breath out through your nose. See if you can just start to breathe in and out through your nose. Take a little bit longer on your inhale. Take a little bit longer on your exhale. And we'll take about 5 more breaths here before we add movement in. So just noticing how you're feeling today. How's your breath feel moving through your body? What's your energy level like? One more slow, deep breath in here. And then let's bend the knees and plant the feet if you haven't done so yet. Locate whatever you're using for your strap. You're going to keep your left foot planted and then loop up the ball mound of the right foot into the strap. Extend that right foot up towards the ceiling. And then I do recommend getting your strap around the ball mound of the foot instead of having it rest right in the center of the foot where the arch is. So you can get a little bit more dorsal flexion out of your ankle, and you can feel a little bit more sensation along the back of your right leg. Okay, so our right leg is going to stay stationary, and then we're going to float that left foot up towards the ceiling. And the left leg is going to be what's moving. So your left leg can stay straight, or you can bend that knee. You're just going to lower the heel bone down towards the floor, give it a little tap or hover, and then extend your left leg back up towards the ceiling. So again, your right leg is staying stationary, your left leg is lowering, maybe a little hover or tap, and then lifting back up to meet your right leg. You're just moving your left leg. So you're creating a little bit of tension, a little bit of stretch along the back of the right leg, lifting and lowering your left leg only. Try to keep your shoulder blades grounded, back of the head and neck relaxed, the low back connected to the floor. So you're only lowering that left leg as far as you can while the low back is staying in contact with the floor. If it starts to lift away from the floor, you're going too far. Pause when the low back wants to peel away and return back to the ceiling with that left leg. Okay, let's move this left leg 3 more times. Here's 2. And here's 1. Okay. Now from here, we're going to just take that left foot into the strap, ball mound of the foot into the strap. Release your right foot, plant that foot. The knee is bent, foot is planted. Pause here. Notice how the back of your left leg feels. Again, you're trying to dorsal flex so those toes are pointing towards your face. Your heel bone is trying to point towards the ceiling. You might have a bend in your left knee. That's totally fine if you do. Pause here and breathe. Feel your pelvis grounded, low back connected. And now let's bring that right foot up towards the ceiling. So again, our left leg is going to stay stationary, and we're slowly going to lower that right heel bone to tap or hover above the mat. In your right leg, it can straighten out. You can also bend that knee a little bit or a lot to keep your low back connected, your core engaged. And you're just trying to keep your left leg stationary now as you lift and lower your right leg only. Find your breath here. Nice, slow, deep breath in and out through your nose. Try to maintain that breath, that inhale and exhale through your nose throughout your whole practice. And it's a good sign if your breath is getting away from you, if you're not able to breathe through your nose, that you just need to take a little break. Maybe skip a movement, maybe take a child's pose. Let your breath be your anchor, your guide, your teacher. We've got 3 more leg lifts on this right side. Here's our last 2. And then one more time, lowering that right leg. Come all the way back up to the ceiling. And then see if you can get both feet into whatever you're using, like a strap. So both feet into that strap. Dorsal flexing both ankles, so your toes are pointing towards your face. You're trying to reach those heel bones towards the ceiling. Try not to overdo this. So really you're just looking for a nice gentle stretch along the back of the legs. We're just going to kind of continue to explore the sensations throughout our practice. Let's take about 3 deep breaths here. Again, shoulder blades are relaxed. Neck is soft. Low back is in contact with the floor. One more breath here. Let's start to release that strap. Keep your legs reaching up towards the ceiling. Now let's add the arms reaching up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and circle out your ankles and your wrists. Now, as you do this, again, notice if the low back wants to peel away from the floor, you probably need to bend your knees a little bit, engage your core muscles a little bit to keep the low back connected. Maybe try to go the opposite direction with your circles here. Reconnect to your breath. And then let's hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Rock a little bit side to side. Massaging that tissue around your low back. I'm going to try not to cough in your ears. I have a little bit of a cold, so apologies if my breathing's a little bit loud today. You can always turn your volume down if need be. All right, let's hug those knees into the chest. We're going to begin to rock and roll the length of the mat. So rolling up to your tailbone and then all the way to the back, upper back, maybe the back of the head. Maybe the feet start to reach overhead as you roll back. Just kind of continuing this exploration of lengthening the back body. Rock and roll about 2 more times. And then let's roll up to a seat. We're going to come into our tabletop shape. If you have blocks at home, you can always take blocks underneath your hands. That'll make your arms a little bit longer and it's a little bit more gentle in the wrists. So cat and cow here. Nice deep breath in, open your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, press the floor away, tuck your chin in, tuck your tailbone under, rounding that upper back towards the ceiling. Let's start to find that breath to movement in and out of our cat and cow. And what I mean when I say that is your breath is guiding your movement. So as you're inhaling, you're back bending. As you're exhaling, you're rounding your spine. Try to find that connection, breath to movement. Two more times in and out of your cat and cow. And we're going to come into a downward facing dog next. I'm going to grab my blocks and set them up at the top of my yoga mat. If you have a chair, stool, or yoga blocks at home you want to have towards the top of your mat as well, feel free to do that. And then meet me in your downward facing dog. All right. So once you arrive into your downward facing dog, Feel free to take a wider stance with your hands, a wider stance with your feet. Try to relax your head as much as possible so that the back of the neck is nice and long. And then notice where the body weight is in your hands. The strongest part of your wrist is your inner hand. That's your thumb and index finger side of your hand, where your wrist forms a true joint with your forearm bones. Try to grip the mat a little bit with your fingertips. Try to roll some more body weight into the knuckle mounds of the hands. If you haven't done so yet, feel free to bend your knees right and left. Just exploring a little bit of movement. I also like to shift my body weight to right and left foot, right and left hand. I just kind of like shifting side to side here. Let's take about 3 more breaths in our down dog. If down dog is ever too much, you can simply take puppy pose. That would just be sending the knees to the mat, walking the hands forward. So you're getting that same traction of the spine. Your arms are still active. Shoulders are still active. But there's just a little bit less body weight on the wrist in puppy dog pose. Always an option. All right, so let's take a nice big breath in, sweep that right leg up and back, point those toes, really reach towards the crease of the ceiling with your right toes. And then exhale, step your right foot forward, plant that foot between your hands. It's okay if it takes a few steps to get there. But trying to stack that right knee on top of the ankle. And then for a moment, just set your left knee down and then try to get really long in your left leg. And what I mean by that is try to take that 90-degree angle bend out of your left knee. So to help with that, let's tuck those back toes under, lift your left knee up, wiggle your left leg back, feel a little stretch there. And then you can keep that left knee lifted if you'd like. I have my hands on blocks here just to make my arms a little bit longer. We're going to sweep that right arm out to the side and then up towards the ceiling. So you're rotating your torso towards your inner right thigh. Big breath in. Nice long breath out. Set that right hand back down to your block or the floor, whatever you're using. You're shifting body weight forward into your right foot, a little bit forward into your hands, and floating that left leg halfway up. So it's like a halfway lift in your spine and your left leg. Back body is really active here. And try to engage your glute muscles, both hamstring muscles, and your standing leg quadricep muscle. We're trying to keep those hips neutral, core active, engaged. Again, spine is straight, so nice and broad across your collarbone. Give me a tiny little bit of pulse here. Left leg pulsing towards the ceiling. This is not a big movement. Body weight towards the inner edge of your right foot, big toe pressing down. Last 3, 2, 1. Set that left foot down next to your right foot, top of the mat. Forward fold. Let your head go. Bend your knees right and left. Upper body draping over your legs. And try to let the heart rate kind of settle here. If you felt it kind of lifting and raising, slow, deep belly breaths. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out through the spine, engage those core muscles. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to reverse uncurl the spine. So straighten out through those legs. Head comes up last. And then just take a moment here to pause. You're standing at the top of your mat, stacking shoulders over hips, stacking hips over knees and ankles. Go ahead and take your arms down alongside your body. Turn the palms to face forward and then really reach through your fingertips towards the floor. Nice deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, we're going to forward fold right back in. And we're going to step the right foot back. Pause, find that low lunge stance. Right foot steps back. Low lunge stance. And then we're going to step the left foot back, high plank. Pause in your high plank. Right hand taps left shoulder. Right hand back to the mat. Left hand taps right shoulder. Left hand back to the mat. Right hand taps left shoulder. High plank. Left hand taps right shoulder. High plank. One more time each side. Right hand. Left hand. Lift those hips high. Downward facing dog. Puppy dog pose is always there if you need it. Relax your head. Nice deep breath in. Long breath out. Two more breaths here in your downward facing dog or your puppy pose. Now from your downward facing dog, let's sweep that left leg up and back. Try to point those toes to the ceiling crease, top of the wall, where it meets the ceiling. Point and reach. Deep breath in. Exhale, pull that left knee forward. Step your foot top of the mat. And then take a moment here to adjust this low lunge. So we want that left foot top of the mat, knee on top of the ankle. Wiggle those toes forward until they get there. Maybe your blocks come underneath your hands. Now let's lengthen out through that right leg. So we're taking that 90-degree bend out of the right knee, tucking the toes, lifting the knee off the mat. Wiggle that right foot back until you feel stretch along that right thigh. Pause there, deep breath in. Right hand stays grounded. Nice big breath in. We're going to sweep that left arm out and up. Inhale here. Stay for your exhale. And then left hand's going to come back down. We're going to start to shift body weight forward to your left foot. You can crawl your hands forward. Body weight starts to shift a little bit, just a little bit into your hands. Most of the weight's on that standing left leg. Now both legs are really active. Okay, we're utilizing both glute muscles, both hamstrings. Your standing left leg is really active. Press down through that big toe mound of that left foot. And your lifted right leg is also really active here too. Try to keep your hips neutral, core muscles engaged, chest nice and broad. Give me those tiny little pulses with that right leg, which is lifted in the air. Make sure you're breathing here. Now remember, it's okay to bend that standing leg knee. I want you to feel access to the muscles of your standing leg. So hamstring muscles, quadricep muscles, feel it strong. If you need to bend your knee a little bit to access those muscles, totally fine. Last 3 pulses. And then we'll slowly float that right foot to meet the left foot. Forward fold, top of the mat, upper body's draping over the thighs, head's heavy, back of the neck long. Maybe there's a nice deep bend in those knees. Deep breath in here. Nice long breath out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root down through those feet, straighten out through those legs. Reverse and curl your spine. Head comes up very last. Standing nice and tall, stacking the joints, reaching those fingertips towards the floor. Deep breath in. Nice long breath out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. You're stepping your left foot back to that lunge position. Left foot steps back, lunge position, pause. Take a nice deep breath here. And then set your hands down nice and flat. Step your right foot back, high plank. We've got shoulder taps, left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder. We're trying to keep our pelvis squared. So sometimes it's helpful with shoulder taps to take your feet a little bit wider. You can always set your knees to the mat with these shoulder taps too. One more time each side. And then if you can, press into your hands, lift your hips high. Relax your head. Downward facing dog. If your wrists need a little break, puppy dog pose is a great alternative. 3 deep breaths. All right, so from our downward facing dog, if you're not already there, that's where we're going to meet, down dog. We're going to start to add on a little bit. So we're going to move forward into a high plank again. Nice deep breath in there, high plank. Then lift your hips high, downward facing dog. Here's where we add on. Right hand reaches back for left leg. Right hand reaches back for left leg. You're just giving it a little tap. And then shifting forward, high plank. Hips lift, high plank, or downward facing dog. And then left hand reaches for right leg. Okay, so you're just going to opposite limbs, shifting forward, finding that neutral position, high plank. And then as you press back, right hand, left leg, shift forward, high plank. Pike those hips up, left hand, right leg. One more time each side. In between each side, you've got high plank position. Try not to let those hips collapse. You're trying to keep your core active and engaged, the chest nice and open. Next time you come back to your high plank, set those knees down. We're going to come all the way down onto the belly. Whew. Note to self, don't wear a hood when you're trying to teach yoga. All right, so all the way down onto your belly. Palms underneath the shoulders. Totally stretching back behind you. Tops of the feet are flat. Squeeze your elbows into your rib cage. Inhale. Lift your head, lift your heart. Low cobra. Exhale all the way back down. Inhale, lift your head and heart. Exhale back to the mat. One more time like that. And then we're going to pause at the top of our back bend. So you might press into your hands, maybe straighten out through the elbows, coming up to upward facing dog if that feels okay. In that case, your kneecaps are lifted, quadricep muscles are active. Release out of your back bend, come all the way back to the mat. Tuck your toes, engage your leg muscles. Tuck your tailbone, engage your core muscles. Deep breath in. We're trying to press up to our high or supported plank. And then meet me in your downward facing dog. 3 breaths in downward facing dog. You know you've always got options here. One more breath. And then on your next inhalation, we're sweeping that right leg high. Point those toes, really reach, reach, reach. Pull the right knee forward, step the foot between the hands. Take a moment to set up that low lunge. Maybe the hands come to blocks. So your left leg is straight, okay? Root down through your left hand. Sweep your right arm out and up. Big breath in. Nice long breath out, stay. And then right hand comes back to the mat or the block, shifting that body weight forward. We're floating the left leg up. Give me those pulses right away. Try to keep your left leg straight. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 3, 2, 1. Left leg meets right leg. Now here, we're adding on with a Malasana Squat. So turn your toes out, widen your stance. Start to bend your knees, sink your hips. And since we haven't really gotten into the hips that deeply yet, maybe this is more like your hips are up in line with your knees like I am. That's okay, maybe stay a little bit higher today. If you're sinking all the way down to the floor, try to keep your heel bones in contact with the floor. Is we're working the range of motion in all of our joints of the lower body. It's fine to leave those hips up in line with the knees, totally fine. Wherever you are, maybe give a little pressure with your elbows along the inner edge of your legs. Nice deep breath in. And a long breath out. Now really try and press through your whole foot, heel bone, forefoot, to stand up nice and tall. Use those leg muscles. Bring your feet to parallel. Reach down through your fingertips. Deep breath in. Stay for your exhale. Big breath in. Sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees enough to plant your hands. Right foot steps back. Pause in that lunge. Right leg is nice and long. Try to keep your hips in that low lunge as you step your left foot back, high plank. Give me shoulder taps, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. One more time each side. Lift those hips high, downward facing dog. Pause here, deep breath in. Nice long breath out. Now we're going to shift forward again, high plank, and then we'll add that rotation. Arm reaching back to opposite leg, inner down dog. So inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Right hand reaches for your left leg. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Pike those hips up. Left hand reaches for right leg. You're just going side to side. Inhale, high plank. Down dog with your reach. Inhale, high plank. Down dog, reach. One more time each side. This is a nice, slow, controlled motion. You're using your core muscles. You're using your leg muscles. Inhale, high plank, pause. High plank, pause. And then we'll lower to the belly with or without the knees. Now this time on our bellies, we're going to add swimmer arms. So we're going to stretch those arms straight forward. Nice deep breath in, lift the limbs, lift the legs and the arms, everything. Now you're going to reach your arms out wide. Try to turn your palms to face the ceiling, and then you're just hovering your hands over your low back. Okay, so everything's still lifted. Return to that Superman shape, arms sweep out and forward. And then as you reach your arms wide and you start to rotate your hands back towards your feet, that's when your palms face the ceiling. You're hovering your hands above your low back. Give me one more time like that. Arms reach forward, top of the mat. And then arms reach back, rotate the palms to face the ceiling. You're just hovering those hands above the low back. Re-extend the arms forward. Plant those hands underneath the shoulders. Rest your forehead here for a moment. Tuck your toes. You're engaging your leg muscles. Tuck your tailbone. You're engaging your core muscles. Deep breath in. Exhale, press up, high plank or supported plank. And then downward facing dog. Whew. All right, left side. Last time through. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Point those left toes. Really reach, reach, reach. Exhale, step your left foot forward, top of the mat. Adjust your lunge. Back leg is nice and long. Right hand stands grounded. Left arm sweeps out and up. Find that rotation. Big breath in here. And then exhale your hand back to the block or floor. We're shifting the body weight forward to left foot. A little bit of body weight in the hands, not a lot. Float your right leg up, halfway lift with the spine and that right leg. Really root through your left leg. Give me those pulses with your right leg. Think about engaging the back muscles and especially that quadricep muscle of your standing left leg. Last 3, 2, 1. Right foot meets left foot. Let's change the position of the feet. So we're setting up for our Low squat, Malasana squat, toes turned out, heels slightly turned in. Sink those hips, bend those knees deeply. And you can explore kind of picking up where you left off. And you might go a little bit deeper this side, but you might not. And both are fine. Nice deep breath in here. Try to broaden across your chest. Maybe give a little pressure with your arms to the inner legs. Get a little bit of external rotation in the hips. One more breath here. Try to stay rooted through your heel bones and your inner foot. Let's really press down through that whole foot. Stand up with that strength and integrity through the leg muscles. Bring your feet to parallel. Reach down with your arms. Really reach through those fingertips. Deep breath in. Nice long breath out. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees enough to plant your hands. Left foot steps back. Pause. Find that lunge shape. Try not to lift your hips at all. Step back to high plank. We've got shoulder taps for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pike those hips high, downward facing dog. Reach your right hand to left leg. High plank. Downward facing dog with your left hand reaching. High plank. One more time each side. Keep going. Last time here. Meet me in downward facing dog. Relax your head. Let it hang heavy. Let's set those knees to the mat. Child's pose. Shift the hips back to the heels. Child's pose. Let it rest. All right, so we're going to make our way onto our back body here. And we're going to revisit that strap. If you have a yoga strap at home that you are using and you want to make it into a hammock and you know how to do that, have at it, okay? Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't have a strap at home, if you're using like a makeshift towel, then we're just simply going to lay down on our backs, extend that right foot up towards the ceiling, ball mound of the foot in the strap, and then you're trying to keep your grip nice and soft here, so minimal effort through the hands. So what I like to do is, if I have enough length, I will wrap that strap around my knuckles, let my arms hang heavy, and then I can see about adding on with my left leg. So I always recommend starting off with your left knee bent, left foot planted, when the right foot's in the strap. This is going to keep your hips neutral, and it's going to not let your right leg pull your pelvis forward as much. Okay, especially for those of you that have really tight hamstrings, calf muscles, and back muscles. You're starting out a little bit more shallow. Your body will thank you for being a little bit more kind and patient to it today. I'm gonna be here for about a minute. Right now, the work is to just pay attention to your breath. Remember, breath is first and foremost our best teacher. And then we're starting to tune into the sensations in the body. Find stillness, find a little bit of a passive stretch. Don't overdo it. Let's take about 3 to 4 more slow, deep breaths here. All right, so we're going to come into a twist, and I'm going to give you an option to keep your foot, your right foot in the strap. We're going to still be on this right leg. First, before you come into your twist, I want you to really bump your hips off to the right side a few inches. So it's a little counterintuitive. So bump your hips off to the right side. And then you're going to take your legs, your whole lower body, and rotate to the left. Now, if you're still holding onto the strap, both ends of your strap in your left hand, your right arm stretches wide to the right side, so your chest stays nice and open, your right shoulder and arm stays grounded. And you're only going so far in your rotation while prioritizing that right shoulder on the ground. This is where props come in. Maybe you're using a chair or couch cushion or yoga block underneath your inner right leg so that you can prioritize the chest staying open to the ceiling and that right shoulder staying grounded. Now from here, once you're in your twist, feel free to just let go of the strap. Let your legs relax, settle, become heavy. Slow, deep breaths. Maybe if it feels okay on the neck, you turn your head, you can look over your right shoulder. Invitation to close the eyes here. Just try to relax. Take about 3 to 4 more slow breaths. Wherever you're at in your breathing, give me one more nice, good breath. If you still have your right foot in the strap, give it a little bit of pressure on the ball mound of the foot. Engage the leg muscles around that right leg as you rotate it back up towards the ceiling. Coming back to a neutral position in your spine, press that right foot up towards the ceiling. Walk your hands up the strap. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And then slowly let go of that right leg. Let it stretch out long, or you can bend the knee and plant the foot. We're just going to take a moment, pause here. Inhale. Exhale. Completely let go of that side. And then again, we're going to come back to this neutral position. So bend the knees, plant the feet. We're finding the ball mound of the left foot up into the strap. Again, you can find that hammock if you have it, if you know what I'm talking about at home. Otherwise, you're just gently holding onto either end of your strap. Maybe you're wrapping around your knuckles so your arms can be heavy, your grip can be relaxed. Again, start out shallow, right foot planted, that knee is bent so your hips are nice and heavy and grounded. So prioritize that first. Feel what you feel along the back of that left leg. If all that's feeling good and you have a lot of range of motion there, then maybe you extend your right leg out long. But notice what that does to your pelvis. It will most likely tip it forward. So if your low back's peeling away from the ground, you want to rebend that right knee, plant the foot. Low back stays connected. Let's breathe here. 3 to 4 more slow, deep belly breaths. Okay, last full breath here. Now before we rotate, we're going to bump the hips to the left side a few inches. Bump the hips off to the left. Maybe you're taking a prop off to your right side so that as you move the straps into your right hand, your left arm's extending off to the left, You're rotating your legs to the right. I know that's a lot of left and right. Okay, so you're just coming into a twist. You're trying to prioritize your left shoulder grounded, your chest open. Add some support underneath your inner left leg. What I want you to let go of is this idea that your left leg has to touch the floor to make your twist, quote unquote, successful. It doesn't have to touch the floor. Let go of this idea. At least try. Humor me. Maintain that connection with your left shoulder, left arm onto the ground. Maybe you're looking over your left shoulder if that feels okay on the neck. Let's breathe here. Maybe eyes are closed. Last 3 to 4 more breaths. Wherever you're at in your breathing, one more nice deep breath in. And a long, complete breath out. If you still have your left foot in the strap, give it a little pull, add a little tension, engage those left leg muscles as you rotate it back up towards the ceiling. And then we're there with our hips neutral. We can walk the hands up the strap towards the foot. Nice, big pull. Big breath in. Nice long breath out. Let go of that left foot. Let go of the strap. Let your legs relax completely. And we're going to set up for our final resting shape, our final Savasana. So if there's any props you want to grab to support that, now would be the time. I'll meet you back on your mat. So we'll be in our Savasana for about a minute. I'm going to invite you to stay there if you'd like to end your practice there. I'm also going to invite you to come to an upright seat. Either way, we're going to end with our breathing exercise. So for now, just practice letting it all go, letting it all rest, relaxing the shoulders down the back, slightly tilting the chin up towards the chest. Deep breath in. Open mouth exhale. Relax the jaw, the teeth, the lips, the gums. Let the eyes be heavy in their sockets. Let it go, let it rest. Savasana. Feel free to stay longer in your resting shape, and feel free to close your practice there too. And if you are going to stay in your resting shape, maybe take your hands and connect them to the belly and the low rib cage, so you can do your breathing exercise there. If you're going to come to an upright seat, just add little movement to your fingers and toes, and move side to side. And when you're ready, you can roll off to a side. Make your way up to that seated position. Let it be supported. Let it be comfortable. So we've got Brahmari breath. Just as a reminder, that's an inhale through our nose. The exhale is a hum. You're making a sound, a vibration, a tone at the back of your throat with your voice. It's like oming with your mouth closed. Maybe the eyes stay closed too. Let's take a full round of breath to prepare, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And we'll inhale to begin. Our exhale is our hum. 4 more times. One more time. Allow your breathing to return to normal. Stacking the hands over the heart. Bowing the chin into the chest. Taking a moment to honor your practice with reverence and gratitude. To all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. Thanks for being here. Come back again soon.